Thank you for joining this episode of the Asset Talk. Today we are getting an update on the capital market of Thailand. Within ASEAN, Thailand has made great strides to attract investors, both local and foreign, to grow activity on the Stock Exchange of Thailand. Interesting to note that during the first year of COVID, the Thai IPO market was the largest in Asia, ahead of even the likes of Japan, Hong Kong, and South Korea. Now, as of the first 7 months of 2022, Thailand is the second largest IPO market in the ASEAN region. We are delighted to be speaking today with Dr. Pakorn Peetathawatchai, President of the Stock Exchange of Thailand. Dr. Pakorn, first of all, thank you for joining us for this annual dialogue with you on the capital market in Thailand. This year is quite special as we are exiting COVID 19. Thailand has started to lift restrictions recently. Now, when you reflect on the past 2.5 years of very difficult times, how might the challenges have affected your approach to the development of the capital market in Thailand?
I would say we have been planning for the improvement on our capital market for quite some time. There are at least three things that we have been working on. How can we make the Thai capital market be more accessible to all type of businesses, small, startup, medium size, large size, and also the foreign fundraising. Those are the first thing that we have a long-term strategy to do. The second thing is that how can Thai capital market has more foreign product for the local investor to access. That's why we have like the many new type of product like ETF, like the depository receipt that has the underlying of the foreign product to provide to the investor, not just in normal size, but also in the small size, in a fractional type of the investment also. Those are the first two things that we have been doing for quite some time, and it start to come fruitful this year. And the third thing is how can we provide the infrastructure for the capital market in Thailand and also in the region, so that the intermediary, the stakeholder, doesn't have to do the double investment. For example, the fund, mutual fund platform, the payment system for the capital market, the open open account for the new investor, so that not everyone have to invest in that. We provide the service through our common platform so that everyone can utilize it. Those are the things, the three main things that we have been doing for quite some time. And you can notice that this year we opened the live platform and the live exchange for the startup and SME. We provide the new TDX, Thailand Digital Exchange, for the digital asset. We provide the new depository receipt in the fractional form for the Thai investor to invest overseas through our intermediary in Thai baht in fractional size. Those are a few things that we have been working on, and this year it become fruitful.
And I'm sure the COVID-19 must have accelerated a lot of these efforts that you're doing, especially on making it accessible and also applying technology to it, right? And when you look back at some of these initiatives, how has that perhaps helped the capital markets perhaps to increase in size, to improve the liquidity, and also certainly to attract more participation?
When you look at our capital market during the COVID era, look back to 2.5 years, you will notice just what you mentioned. Previously, before the COVID era, the new Thai retail investor open account yearly, roughly a few 100,000 account. 200,000 to 500,000 accounts per year. But during COVID, the number of the new account jumped to 1.5 million accounts per year. And the way they open account nowadays is the e-open account, non-face-to-face open account. They can use any online trading platform to like set trade or streaming to open an account for the selling agent and investing in stock, mutual fund or derivative. Those are the first thing that we saw, and we are so happy that our infrastructure that we invest has been very well utilized on that. Secondly, when you look at the trading volume in our capital market, it jumped from something like 1.5 billion US dollars per day to almost 3 billion US dollars per day during the past few years. And that is very interesting because you can see that there is a lot of like jump in the participation, not just from the retail investor, but from the foreign institution also. So it's a very healthy increase in the activity in both sides. The third thing is the number and the amount of the IPO in Thai capital market. During the past few years, we were ranked very highly in Asia and in the world. In Asia, we are in the top 10. And in the world, globally, we are in the top 20 in the amount of fundraising and the market cap increase from the IPO during the past few years. So I think it shows that our capital market has been growing very steadily from all the foundation that we have been working on.
And that is wonderful news, especially as more investors look for opportunity. Now, one of the trends that have developed as a result, but even before COVID-19, is the focus on things like corporate governance and certainly sustainability, ESG in particular. Dr. Pakorn, perhaps you could share with us a quick update on what Stock Exchange of Thailand is doing, but more importantly, how are you pushing it forward so that more companies will be compliant with the expectation of investors? Thank you.
If you remember, our development on this corporate governance has started very early during the 1997 crisis, the Tom Yam Goong crisis. That at that time, the Thai company has been in the trouble and they need to raise the new funding, especially the banking sector. And at that time, there are no funding availability in local market. So we have to go abroad. We have to raise funds abroad. And at that time, one of the biggest problems of the Thai corporate when they want to raise funds abroad was about the issue of corporate governance. At that time, the investor has a lot of doubt in our accounting number, whether it's correct, whether it's transparent, whether it's in time. They have concern about the investor protection, whether if they come in to invest in Thailand, would they have a good protecting organization, the SEC, the law and regulation, would it protect the foreign investor well? Those are why we have started this initiative on corporate governance since 1997. In 1990, we set up the Institute of the Director that has been a collaboration between the Bank of Thailand, the Exchange, the SEC, and the World Bank to set up that kind of institution. And that was the starting point. So you can see it's like 25 years ago that we start all this thing, all this journey. And then we get into the corporate social responsibility, and then we get into the ESG, environmental, social, and governance support for the company to embrace this kind of like activity in their business strategy and their policy. And now it get into the sustainability. The result of all those development, you will notice that in Thailand, we are leading in this the sustainability action. 8 Thai companies are the leader in the S&P Global that name 8 Thai companies to be the leader in those industries. We have 41 Thai companies in sustainability ranking, number 4th highest ranking in the world On the aid industry, we are number one in the world. And all the company that has been doing are not just a large company, but also large, medium size, and small, because we are promoting it locally also, not just internationally. We have our own indice called Thailand Sustainability Index that take into account almost like 150 companies into that index, so that all these companies gonna be developing their sustainability practice, so that in the future they will be ranked in the global standard. And in the global standard, either MSCI ESG, the FTSE4Good, or the DJSI, Thai companies are ranking very high in all those things. The most important thing that we are trying to support is not just that we want to have many Thai companies in all those indices, but we want to make an understanding for all Thai companies that what they are doing about sustainability have to be meaningful and suitable. It's not just that you just do things that we give you as an example to do our template to fill in our information, but we really want the Thai company to understand the meanings of what their action, and their action must be very suitable for them in each industry. Those are the things that we have been working on. At the beginning, certainly we provide a template, we provide a workshop, but nowadays we provide more of an understanding on this issue. And what we do is, then after the company have all these suitability, all the sustainability concept in their company strategy, we get all this information on what the action they do to the investor and analyst through our reporting system, so that it is machine readable, it go directly, fast, and transparently to the investor and the analyst. And then we come up with the product like the ESG indice, like the ESG mutual fund, ESG ETF, those kind of things, so that first they have data, they have people to analyze it, they have the product for this guy. And lastly, we are monitoring, not just us, we and the Security Exchange Commission in Thailand, we come up with a report and the way that we can monitor all these things. So this is the value chain of what we are trying to do to promote these sustainability practices of the Thai listed company.
Dr. Pakorn, one of the challenges with ESG, of course, is gathering data that are relevant,
Exactly.
as you say, and science-based. When you speak to Thai listed companies, what sort of challenges do they face? Because we hear a lot about the challenges about how to meet some of the requirements, or certainly the intent to disclose, but not sure what to disclose. How
Exactly.
how are you overcoming all of these challenges that they face? How are you helping them?
This is a part that is very difficult to implement, because normally the first thing that we discuss with the listed company would be a template or the suggested information that they should fill. However, like I told you before, the information for each company, for each industry are quite different to be meaningful and to be suitable. That's why nowadays we are trying to come up with industry suggested information needed. Those are the things that we need to keep on improving. It cannot be one size fit all template or one size fit all information to every company. Nowadays, we need to get into more detail. How big is your company? What is the relevance of the information that you need to do? If you are service sector, if you are manufacturing, if you are like the contract farming, those things are so different. So I totally agree with you. Nowadays, it's more like a consulting service that we have to, or workshop that we have to do with the listed company. And this is not that easy. It needs to be a kind of like industry practice first, and then company uniquely to come up with all those kind of information. I would say that it's gonna be a trial and error and evolution that we're gonna do, because for us, we need to figure out what would be the information that really matter for each industry, for each company.
And Dr. Pakorn, how long is this process, do you think? I know it's very complex, it's difficult,
Mm.
as we both agree. But would there come a time where SEC or SET working together make this a requirement rather than a voluntary
Mm.
disclosure?
You just mentioned it rightly. For Thailand, we start with the voluntarily, but nowadays we start to move from voluntarily to almost like a mandatory now. For example, we start with a thing called the one report that has a requirement for the company to give information on all these sustainability issues, and that is a starting point. To me, once we start to learn what information that matters, we will provide those information more and more in the future so that the company can get the value added from the activity that they has been doing. And that, to me, has to be very standardized, has to be machine readable, and has to be easy for the people who use this information to be able to extract from the annual report, for the financial statement, or from the website that the company has. To me, in the future, it's gonna be different from now. In that nowadays, many of these kind of like analysis are the survey or the questionnaire. But in the future, I think the best way to do it is has all this information publicly open. Anyone can use it. Anyone who has an AI or has a like a analyst can extract this information and get the value that this strategy or action create and put it back into the valuation of the company. That would be my dream, I think.
Mm, mm. And when you look at all these efforts that Stock Exchange of Thailand is doing under your leadership, what at the end of the day is your motivation? I mean, everyone talks about ESG and they say,
Mm.
I'm giving back, doing good. Is that the motivation, or do you see
No,
bigger, more important implications?
if you look back at our history, you will notice that we realize that corporate governance are so important. It is a value added of Thai company. Nowadays, when you talk to investor globally, they all acknowledge that Thai company has a very high uh, the corporate governance score or corporate governance rating, and then they now realize and are aware that Thai company are very good in sustainability, and that put premium on the valuation of Thai company. Because when you look at the selling point of the Thai capital market nowadays, I would say ESG or sustainability is one of the selling point. And that to me is not just a doing good, it's more like doing good and do it to show that we are good in the long run and we can generate value added in the long run through all these sustainability activities. It's not just being a good guy, but this time a good guy can get a good result from what they did also.
Mm, mm. And absolutely, that is the direction and the intention. I wonder whether at some point in, let's say in 2023, you might introduce further enhancements and sort of requirements. Do you see that happening in the next year or so?
For us, the next thing that we are looking into is how to initiate the carbon credit market to support all these things. Because in the past, when Thai good company are doing very innovative thing in like environmental and social and governance thing, we cannot tend to realize it in dollar term, in monetary term that much. However, if we have a good carbon credit market, have a good carbon credit contract, have all these like green energy type of project that can be verified, validated, and use it as a way to compensate on all the carbon dioxide emission that they have. I think that would be the next step that this company will get the value from what good things that they have been doing. So for us, that would be the part that we will try to collaborate with many organizations in Thailand to promote this carbon credit market. Just like what we did in 1999 on that Institute of Director thing about corporate governance. This thing now come to ESG sustainability, and to me, the next step would be the carbon credit and all these kind of like the way to make the world better through the operation of the company.
And carbon credit market is certainly something that many other exchanges are looking into. Certainly, yes. Some exchanges have launched them. When do you see that happening for you? And certainly, what are some of the hurdles that you need to overcome?
For us, it doesn't need to be an exchange. It can be OTC, over the counter. It can be exchange venue. But two of the most important thing to us is that first, I wish that we can build up a very good global standard contract that can be used in Thailand cheaply, that can be verified locally and can be used globally. That is the first thing. Because if the contract is not standard, it's gonna be very difficult to be able to recognize it and use it globally. That is the first thing. And how can we make that operational very cost efficient is so important. Secondly, we need to have a very good registrar for this contract. I don't care that much about how they're gonna trade, whether it's gonna be OTC or it's gonna be the exchange, but the very important thing would be how can we record all these contracts since it's originated, now who hold it, and when will it be expired. Those are the things that is so important to me as an exchange operator, because if we have a good contract, a standard contract that is globally traded, it's very good. Now it can be traded anywhere. Secondly, how can we recognize it? How can we store it? How can we record all the movement of the ownership? Those are the things that is so important. How it is traded, I think it depends on the volume, it depends on the liquidity, it depends on the demand and supply. Those are the things that we will try to start first.
And I'm sure, Dr. Pakorn, technology seems to have a role to play here, right? And when we start talking about things like the initiatives you're doing along blockchain, do you see blockchain playing a role in addressing some of these issues?
To me, two of the most important things are, first, regulation. Regulation has to be clear so that we can play in the same rule and the same game. That's why the regulation in the future for digital exchange, digital asset on this carbon credit will be very important, so that it will direct the way that the market will grow. And secondly, the business. Would there be a case for business to be able to utilize all this contract? Those would be important. For example, if in the future it come out and saying that to be able to export goods and services abroad, you need to have this kind of like carbon credit management, those kind of thing, or you must have the export quota that determined by the carbon emission or something that your manufacturing process are using, or you have a subsidy on the more you save on the carbon emission, the subsidy you will get more and more. Those are the things that, in my opinion, would certainly contribute to the growth of the contract or the business. However, technology is, to me, is not that important that it has to be one type of technology only. It can be any technology that can be applied to all these business operation and processes. So blockchain is a good technology. However, you need to look into the suitability of the technology to the application, not the application to the technology.
That's a very sensible and correct, I think, approach that you're taking. Speaking of digital assets, we've seen I guess, the growth of digital asset and interest amongst
Mm,
investors, and we've got good experiences and some not so good experiences. There's
mm,
been a clamor, I guess, in Thailand that some of these efforts, especially on crypto assets, has to be regulated.
mm,
What is the Stock Exchange of Thailand approach to this? What are you
mm.
thinking, and what might you be looking to apply so that it is safely um, uh, it's a safe asset for investors to consider?
This is a very good question. When you look at the digital asset, I tend to look at it in three products. The first one is the investment token. The second one is the utility token. And the third one is a cryptocurrency. To me, the first two assets are very interesting to the Stock Exchange of Thailand because it's, they are quite similar to the traditional asset that we have. It must be the token, or it must be something like the thing that have some underlying value to generate the cash flow to the investment. However, on the cryptocurrency, I look at it more like a mean of payment. That's why for us at SET, we will not look into the cryptocurrency market. We will only look into the investment token and utility token because we look at it as a mean for the business operator to be able to raise fund that is suitable to their need. For example, if you are a new startup uh, doing businesses in the new innovative product or services that you would like to raise fund from small investor in a smaller amount in a big number of investor, those might be the good application for this type of like investment token or utility token. However, I don't see the cannibalizing between the traditional market and the digital asset market yet because of the strength of these two markets are quite different. For the traditional market, the big company can raise fund in the amount of like a billion US dollar within a few days to only a few hundred or thousand investors, which certainly will be more economically and efficiently for those type of fundraising. So this is why when I look at digital asset, I look at traditional asset, I tend to look at the strength and weakness of each market to match the users.
Mm. And that's kind of interesting. And what are you seeing next that you would like to see happen under the leadership of the Stock Exchange of Thailand in terms of digital assets?
There are in the digital asset, right? I would say that certainly we would like to see uh, the right type of the business operator to be able to use digital asset to raise a fund that's suitable for them, that can be tailor-made to the investor who would like to invest in all these projects. And I would like to see the investor to be able to diversify their investment into this new era of financial opportunity that would be able to diversify their portfolio better, suitable to their risk appetite. And also, I would like to see us to be able to provide a platform so that service provider, investor, the business fundraiser to be able to use our platform to execute all these things that I mentioned.
Mm.
That's our objective.
Mm. Dr. Pakorn, one big sort of thinking sometimes around our discussion on the role of the Stock Exchange of Thailand and capital market itself is not just the impact of COVID-19, and it is not just the impact of digital technology that is advancing quite rapidly over the past many years, both of which have kind of fed into each other in a way. At the same time, we're also in an environment that's much different. We have rising inflation, interest rate hikes, and even geopolitics is now becoming an issue that might have implications for funds flow in general. I wonder, from the point of view of a capital markets operator in Thailand, do you look at some of these changing dynamics that we are witnessing on the macro front that might have implications for the stock exchange in Thailand? And are you taking steps to ensure that the stock exchange of Thailand continue to be relevant and being accessed by investors?
That is a very good question. We have been working on this question for at least for 10 years, because when you look at Thai capital market, it's not big, and we are in a country that is not big either, and we are quite a very domestic oriented capital market. If we keep on working, keep on providing service like what we have been doing during the past 10-15 years, we will be marginally smaller and smaller. That is why, like you already been aware, we are trying to open our capital market to have foreign fundraiser to use Thai capital market to raise fund to many type of investment issuing vehicle. We are trying to open our capital market to have more foreign product, like bring in the foreign stock, foreign ETF, foreign mutual fund to be listed here, and having the stakeholder, the intermediary locally, be able to provide these kind of services to both the fundraiser and the investor. We are trying to build up the infrastructure so that our stakeholder doesn't have to do the double investment, so that they can work on things that they are good at and using the platform that we have and add on the service over that infrastructure through the open API structure. Those are the things that we have been working on the hardware side, so that this thing, the Thai capital market would be growing, not just in a piece, but as a pie, growing bigger. And the other side would be on the software side. We are trying to promote the financial literacy. We are trying to build up the skill of the investor relationship. We are trying to build up the skill of the financial advisor. We come up with the institute to promote all this financial literacy, financial education, to work with the university, work with the stakeholder in the industry to come up with more personal, even the personal on the ESG. This evening, I will go to have a closing ceremony for the first training class of the ESG graduate, that we have like 50 or 60 people from the industry and the academic to come in and have a course on this ESG education, so that they would be able to go back and become the tutor, the trainer for others to have more of these personnel to work in the industry. So this is the thing that the Thai Stock Exchange has been working with the SEC, working with the Bank of Thailand, working with the Association of the Security Company and Asset Management Company to come up with these at least both hardware and software development, so that the Thai capital market gonna grow. When you look at this development, you will notice that as the industry grow, the Stock Exchange of Thailand grow. So it's a byproduct. If we keep on working on ourselves alone and we don't work with our partner, no way it's gonna happen. The growth gonna be a lot smaller, a lot slower than if we work with all these participants, with the partner, and come up with the few priority thing that we want to push and work together. I think that is the best way for the capital market to grow.
And Dr. Pakorn, of course, Stock Exchange of Thailand is not operating in isolation or on its own. We have a lot of competition generally, not just from exchanges, from other types of participants in the market. How are you seeing Thailand having advantages or at least attractions that would make some of these things that you're saying happen, especially listing of foreign products on the Stock Exchange of Thailand?
One thing that I will tell you is that nowadays, in a world that the competition is so perfect, it can come from anywhere, come from anyone. To me, the best way to go ahead would be work with more and more partners. Don't only think about your competitor as competitor. How can you become friendly competitor? How can we become a partner in promoting business together? It's not just that we take business from you, you take business from us. How can we both build up the pie to be bigger? I like this word that I use as an analogy. It is not that you get a bigger slice of pie, but the more important thing is how can we make the pie bigger? And even though you get the same slice, but the slice gonna be bigger. To me, that is more important. That's why actually this November, the ASEAN exchange, the collaboration between us, Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia, and Vietnam, 6 of us gonna go to New York doing the roadshow together. Because for us, if we go alone, we are so small. But if we are going as a pack and we show the investor the strength of all these countries and the synergy of this all country, and if we can have work together and have all the product in our country cross listing in either depository receipt or cross listing, investor overseas who want to come to this region can go to any country and invest in the asset of the region. Why? Why would it be benefit to the region? If the foreign investor invest in any country for our regional product, internally, it has to be the trading between the host country and the local exchange, right? Because you need to create the product, and if they invest in the product need to be generated, and there must be a trading cross-border, and it will generate activity in the host country and in the local country, and intermediary will get all the businesses also. So that is why I think it's so important that especially for a small country, small market like us, we got to work together. We got to find a way to work together.
We're seeing the seeds again of this wonderful exercise on the ASEAN exchange. So we're very excited to hear more of that, and all the best as you travel to New York with the other ASEAN exchanges. Dr. Pakorn, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate this opportunity, and we wish you well, and look forward to next chance to have another conversation with you. Fantastic sharing from our guest today, Dr. Pakorn Peetathawatchai, President of the Stock Exchange of Thailand. Now, till our next episode of the Asset Talk, please continue to stay safe, and bye for now.